So this is an introduction to glaze lecture. Okay. Um, Glaze is fascinating and amazing. I'm going to fix my hair as I talk to you. Um, and it is um, a lot of the reason why people like ceramics when they first get introduced to the world of clay. Um, Most of the time, if you're going through like an art festival or something like that, and you're looking at mugs that a potter has made, or whatever it is, bowls, mugs, whatever, you are attracted to the glaze because of the color and because of the goo and the melty effects. So here's your introduction. I'm going to try and make this as brief as possible because it's a really, really big world out there in terms of glaze. You can have shiny glaze, matte glaze. You can have glazes that drip a lot. You can have glazes that stay put. So our glazes that we have are designed to be really opaque. A lot of glazes that you're going to see on the internet are designed to be translucent or transparent. So what that means, think about glass, because that's really what glaze is. So glaze is a combination of glass, but also it's a combination of clay, because what the clay does in glaze is it sticks to the pot, all right? And then it's a combination, I'm still recording, okay. It's a combination of metal. Metal is actually what colors your glaze. So I have all of these like things over here, and I'm just going to show you a jar of it. Give me a second. This stuff right here is called chrome oxide, right? So this is one of the colorants that we use to color glazes. It's metal, chrome, okay? But here's what's crazy. This stuff actually is not green whenever it gets fired. It actually turns pink, similar to my sweatshirt, but maybe even more pink, which is weird, right? Because this, which is a bad example, and this lighting is terrible, this is what you get if you use this colorant, okay? So these are the things that we put into your glaze when you're using it. So let me show you, so let's talk about this concept of changing color. So this glaze right here that you see is a bucket of what we call hazy gray. And I've already mixed it up a little bit. These glazes have sat here since before coronavirus hit, before March 13th. Okay. Now this glaze looks kind of like brown. I'm going to give you a little shot of it here. Hope you like my sound effects. However, this glaze, after it gets fired, turns into something like this. This is what we call hazy gray, so check it out. It looks gray. Okay, now I want to point out something. This is slightly uneven, so if you see this big drip right here, that's where they dipped it in and then it started dripping down the pot after they glazed it. So thickness of your glaze matters, all right? Also, there is one thing that you're going to see on every single pot that we ever show you. So if you take a look, there is nothing on the bottom of this pot. If you look at this, there's a rim. Wherever the pot is touching, that area is blank, and here's why. When you go to heat up glaze in a kiln, it's going to get sticky like honey, okay? So honey is like a really good example of what glaze does. So think about how honey kind of stays put, but at the same time flows a little bit, okay? So if you have a thin layer of honey on a pot, this is a pot that we have already dipped glaze into, but it hasn't gotten fired into the kiln, okay? This pot right here is going to heat up, and all of that glaze that's on here is going to start, we call fluxing. So it's going to heat up, it's going to start turning into kind of like a gooey, liquidy, honey-like substance, right? And if we keep it really, really hot for a really long time, think about that. That honey is going to kind of slide down on verticals. See where I'm going with this? So we have to be very aware of how that plays into the bottom of a pot. So if you had that glaze on the bottom of a pot and it's sitting on a shelf, as it's heating up, it's going to start gooing and moving around, right? Well, when it cools down, it starts hardening into a glass-like state. And that glass-like state is going to, as it cools down, harden up and stay put. Which means that if you have glaze on the bottom of your pot, if you were to pull it off, you'd have to break it, okay? And I actually have, no I don't, I have kiln shelves. Here, come with me into the back room real quick. It's not that big of a deal. I have kiln shelves, here's one, that are really bad off. So I'm gonna kind of hold this up and check that out. So this is in kind of like a ring, right? That happened when the glaze was heated up and then gooed down, all right? So you know some basics of glaze. This is not the first video on glaze. It's going to be like many educational videos on glaze. So I hope that you are educated. I hope that you watch the whole thing through, and take care. Okay, bye-bye.